TCU TV number, I don't know, 36 or something. And today on the scene, we got Cooper Brownlee, head honcho of the Australian street riding world, even though he might not like to be referred to as such.
Truth.
Thoughts? Are you willing to take that?
No, not really.
No, he's a shy dude. I think we got 3 shy guys on our hands here, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play their cards in terms of answering all these amazing questions that I have lined up here today. So first off, I guess I'll just say, Cooper, what brings you to Southern California?
Pretty much just filming and shooting photos with any team dudes that are over here right now.
Nice. And so you are a employee of Colony. Could you tell me exactly what your title is there?
Pretty much
everything.
Yeah.
You just get a little closer to the mic?
Yeah, pretty much shoot photos, filming, art direction, team manager.
And how long you been there?
6 years, I think.
Okay.
About
And
that.
how did you, well, I guess let's go back to the beginning. Where are you from?
Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne, Australia. So how did you get interested in BMX?
I think we had like a racetrack near my house and just usual stuff, rode the racetrack.
So what age?
Probably like 13, 14.
Do you remember how you got interested in freestyle?
X Games, usual deal. Saw it on TV, I think, and sort of went from there. And I think I I remember Fuzzy Hall being my idol back in the day, so that was...
So he was a big influence?
Yeah.
When did you start to go in the street direction?
Like, we rode trails for years and then got sick of them getting bulldozed, and just...
Slowly
Still
transitioned
sort of
into
riding
street?
street then, just, the people I was around were riding trails, and that's what we did.
When would you say that you became like primarily a street rider in terms of your age? Because what are you right now, 33?
Yeah, good guess.
I looked at an interview earlier, and then I added 1 because it was a year old, just for the record.
Almost 34.
Okay, shit.
Probably, I'd say like 16, 17. Kind of late bloomer, I guess, but
Oh, that's all right.
back then it wasn't as big, so...
Yeah. Street riding was in fishy territory at the time. It was more of a statement if you were a street rider because it was not terribly popular back then.
Yeah.
Do you remember like when the Animal video came out? Was that a huge influence on you?
Yeah, I think it was even before that because I remember Thunder coming out.
Right.
And that was like, that had everything in it. Like, you'd remember
Yeah,
it.
dude. I remember
You probably
that
don't
shit.
remember Wolfie, but like...
He
it was
definitely doesn't remember.
He's
Yeah,
fucking
he remembers watching that in the ball sack as a child. Yeah.
pretty much. But yeah, that that had sort of a bit of everything from memory. So that was like, you kind of just rode everything back then, and that was like because I was riding street, but I was primarily a trail rider, and then, like I said, when the trails got dozed too many times, it's sort of you can ride anything when you ride street.
How would you compare the street riding in Melbourne to Southern California?
A lot less spots.
A lot less, because I think a lot of people have this idea that Australia is amazing for street because when they watch your videos, there are a lot of good spots. But I get the idea from talking to you guys that they're very spread out. And
They're spread out. I mean, so is it here. It's spread out here as well, but it's more of a case that we're running out of. We still like revisit schools and everything every weekend, but I couldn't tell you the last time we found a new rail.
Really, because you've just combed the place so many times.
Completely.
Into grass?
Into grass. That was one idea we discussed was to just make fun of you for the rail into grass. Do you do that? Have you had a lot of...
That's all we have.
Why is that, though? Why are all the rails into grass in
I
Australia?
guess they're just like, because the schools are smaller. So, there's always going to be that rail under the back oval.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And what's your policy if you find a good rail and it's got a grass landing, it's perfect for the trick you want to do?
We don't care.
You're just down with it.
Yeah.
See, I like that.
Because, but we'll do rails that are middle set, concrete at the bottom. It's not like, we're scared of rails.
No,
It's just-
they're not. And when I
been
went
there.
there, I did rail in the grass. Like, it's just standard.
And you would you never do this in California? For the record, this is Eric Cupier, a.k.a. Barney, Los Angeles street legend. How old are you?
32. I'll be 33.
And then we have Wolfgang Ray, who is 13?
20.
20, okay. But, so would you ever do a rail into grass in Southern California if you were to find one?
Nah.
No. It's not street enough. It's not
Maybe
hardcore.
Just with me and my friends and nothing around.
No
one
camera?
Like to film or phone out.
Everybody, you have to confiscate their iPhones like you're at Drake's house. Like, no. We're not going to capture this.
Yeah.
I knew that would come up.
What are the other stereotypes about Australia? That Josh Irvine's always there,
that's
leaving
all I
a
get
leaving a
asked.
comment.
If I come here, that's all I get asked about.
Is Josh? That's really a thing that like everybody wants to know about Josh Irvine.
Yeah, and he's fine.
You're cool with him?
It's like he's just how he is. You know how he is. So
I've heard about how he is. I've
sure
seen
you know.
some strange behavior, but I
Yeah.
mean, he had that day in the life come out. I feel like that kind of put him back in the conversation. Where he actually is a pretty good rider. You watch that day in the life.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because he seems pretty funny and he seems pretty good at riding, even though he falls a bunch. But I mean, he does some good stuff too.
yeah, he's definitely a good rider. It's just he's a bit odd.
So when is his Colony Welcome to the Team edit coming out?
Don't know. We'll have to see.
Oh, okay.
I doubt Miller would be.
You don't think Miller's down with it?
No.
What's up with Miller? How is he these days?
He's good. He's
Yeah?
a busy man.
Very, very busy. Like
Very
what?
busy.
What would you describe his role? Like what does he do in the company? Are you number 2 in the company?
I guess so.
Yeah. So what's his role?
He's
Just everything.
He handles anything to do with Taiwan, just sales stuff. Tells me what to do. Just what else would he do? Everything behind the scenes that no one would understand. What
All
is to be done.
the tiny
It is-
bullshit. Yeah.
He most of the product stuff's done with him and a couple other guys. Plus, obviously, the team and everyone has, excuse me, their input. So yeah.
How old were you when you started Focal Point?
Shit. That was 2000 and...
Could just get a little
2003.
bit closer to the mic.
2003.
Okay.
So what's that? I would have been... I don't even know how old I was, but that's 12 years ago now.
Yeah. And so what was the idea in the first place? Like what was your initial motivation?
We had one other magazine back then, and it was... So there wasn't enough.
What was it called?
2020.
Right. Yeah.
So 2020 was around, and then, there wasn't many avenues for people to get exposure, and obviously the internet back then, I don't even know if it
The very
existed.
early days
Yeah.
in 2003. Yeah.
So we started doing a zine, just myself and a few friends, and did that for 7 issues, and then it was kind of like, we should go color, and saved up a lot of money and just went for it, and did 26 issues all up, I think.
Were you doing like quarterly issues at a point?
Yeah, pretty much.
And were you ever like making a living from the money, or was it always just kind of enough to get by?
Yeah, I was full-time worker at the same time. I think for about a year, I sort of did freelance stuff and whatnot, and did the mag as well. But yeah, it was always sort of a side project.
Was it tough? Like, I mean, I'm sure one of the more difficult parts of it was having to handle like the ad sales and like working with all these brands and stuff.
Yep.
Was that like the hardest part?
Yeah, it probably was. Just getting everything together in time. It is. Nothing's ever going to be on day.
And nobody ever wants to pay on time is
No,
a big thing.
I mean, everyone was pretty good, and it went well for a while. It's just, and that's how I got this, the job I do now. So
Right.
It was because of that.
And so, but you were doing videos under that brand name from the very early days too. Was
Yeah.
that at a certain point were you selling like a lot of videos? What was a lot for you at the time, or how many were you selling? At the time?
DVDs?
Yeah.
A couple, 400, 500.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. Worldwide, like it wasn't huge, but it was all about the DVD premieres and
Yeah.
stuff like that, usual stuff. I think we did 3 DVDs.
Are there any riders that you could kind of take credit for like putting them out there on a getting them noticed, that type of thing? Who comes to mind?
JK for sure. DJ for sure.
Yeah.
Jack Kelly and Daniel Johnson.
Probably like Marnold
Yeah,
as
sorry.
well. And Marnold, I guess.
Yeah,
Marnold.
Marnold for
All
sure,
those
man.
dudes, like they live real close to me, like 5-10 minutes away. So we
You
grew
were
up.
instrumental in getting them noticed.
I drive them around everywhere.
Yeah. That's what.
Yeah.
I got a series of questions from Frenchie, and he was telling me that I just needed to point out like the way that you operate, where he said that you just got a van, you got a fucking spot book, and it's just like, yo,
It's insane.
every single thing in here we could go to, you just pick it out and let's go. Which
Yep.
is the best possible thing that you could really have for going for you as a filmer, as a media guy.
Yeah. Like we had I guess they're called, like, what do they call over here? The Refidexes, like street directories.
Yeah.
And we just like mark it all out. So we had the book, and then
So this is pre-digital, before
Yeah,
you got an
it's
iPhone and
pre-digital.
everything.
Yeah,
Have,
and then-
have you switched to iPhone in terms of your
I
spot
got
guy
like
now?
like a cheap ass tablet.
Okay.
And just I shot all the photos on my phone and transferred them over and just sort of categorized it. And
I have seen the
Good to
book
go.
of spots though. When I visited him, he literally had like 2 photo albums.
Yeah.
Just spots, and you literally could just go through and be like, I want to go here, Coops, and he'd like take you like.
Yeah.
Coops is a legend. Like when he makes it so easy for like any writer, you
Yeah.
know, like they have like no excuses. It's kind of like terrifying if you.
Did you go through like a phase in your life where you were just obsessively searching for spots constantly, and,
Yeah.
and that's now over because you feel like you've done the work?
Yeah, pretty
Nice.
much. I was definitely dedicated.
Do you get motivated to search other parts of Australia because it's a pretty massive continent?
Yeah. I mean, like I go to Brisbane a lot because that's where Miller's based and that. So the dudes up there, they've got good spots and they're always searching, same sort of deal. But then Sydney's like a little bit more untapped. So we try and go to Sydney. It's like a 11-hour drive because there's a lot of spots there that definitely. My girlfriend's from there, so I'd go up there and she'd find spots for me.
I heard about the girlfriend years ago. I forget who said, but somebody told me that your girlfriend's fully down to be just out looking for spots with you all the time. Does she ride?
No, not at all.
She's just down for the cause?
Yeah, I mean, back when we were like living in different states, she'd be like texting me photos of rail. Like, you have to teach her like what a rail is.
Right.
But yeah, no, she's pretty good with that stuff.
Girls sometimes will send me pictures of like, oh, look at this rail, and it's like a 6 foot tall aluminum flat rail next to a wall or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's a rail, all right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ride it.
Yeah.
Somebody could do something on that.
She's good like that.
I don't know. That's it. What else do we got here? Do you think that it was a bad thing for the Australian scene when the magazine sort of took a shit?
Yep.
Do you think it hurt the overall like vibe of the scene?
I think it did, and 2020 only stopped doing print about a year ago. So we pretty much have no print now.
Yeah.
So,
well, America's in a rough state in regards to that too.
yeah.
So, but at the same time, when you go to a skate park or when you talk to young kids, do you feel like they have a relationship with magazines before they went away, or was it just an issue of them kind of losing interest?
I think like back when we had the mag, like it was free as well, so we just sent it to bike shops, like 120 shops or something, and you could like people were stoked to get it, and it was free, so people were going to read it or have it in the car.
Right.
But then kids, like I guess it sort of got to that point where no one wants to pay
Right.
$8 for a magazine, and with Instagram and everything nowadays, like the general kid probably doesn't really care about it that much.
They just
There's no
don't give a
print,
shit.
like they're just used to it. Like I was saying to someone the other day, we used to send the mag to like libraries, like school libraries, because that's like the roots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I remember that when I was a kid, seeing that stuff when I was in school and seeing
Yeah.
BMX Plus and stuff.
Yeah, but that was pre-internet. So now I think kids get into it different ways. They don't.
Yeah.
Like I love print and always will, and even back home, there's still a couple like zines and stuff going on, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more of that.
Just young kids making zines
Yeah,
now?
and like dudes like my age, there's one called Nothing's Wrong. They do like a color zine
Oh, that's
magazine, I
dope.
guess now, but like more of that stuff would be good.
See, I would like to see kids doing zines in America,
Yeah.
but I mean, I can't remember. I think Colt Fake does one. He's like a pro rider. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, like it would be good, like because like that's that whole DIY sort of. That's why I felt like BMX was like the hardcore punk scene.
Yeah.
It's like DIY stuff and just.
So was that a big inspiration for you? Because I know you're into hardcore and stuff too.
Yeah, I guess it was. That's kind of probably where it sort of.
That was where the urge to do
Influential.
a zine and then a magazine
probably
came
was.
from.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting because with the come up, that was actually a real big motivator for me. I started the blog and then I was going to do a zine that was like a hardcore zine, but then it just never really happened. I ended up doing all the interviews online. But that definitely was a motivation for me too, because you see that in hardcore that people are able to start, print things and do it without much money, without much investment, you know?
That's it. You go to a show, and even now there's still like back home. You go to a show and there's like 5 or 6 zines there, or they'll have all sorts of things. So it's still happening in their world, but.
I think that what's going to happen is that I think there's going to be a new generation of people doing magazines. Like you see Bakos doing the Endless Mag, where it's like, because you think about what a magazine was for a long time, it was this big money-making operation that was owned by a corporation or whatever, and now it's just going to go back more into the hands of writers who are down to make something that's like lower production quality, that doesn't cost as much to make. Maybe they give it away for free, kind of like Focal Point was early on. I think that we'll probably at some point see like a renaissance of people doing that.
Yeah, like a cycle.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'd be down with that.
It seems logical. What else are we looking at here? Oh, yeah. I read in one of your interviews you're a cabinet maker. And then we were thinking it would be funny to make the entire interview about cabinet making and just not mention BMX at all.
Coops kills it, man.
Right. You're really good at this? Like, how'd you get interested in cabinet making?
I think like back when you're like 18, I tried to find a job that had good hours so I could ride more, like a lot of people did. And cabinet making was that sort of thing, 7 to 3:30. And did that for like 7 years and then finally just,
Got a BMX job?
Yeah, like BMX was like, I just wanted to do something I enjoyed every day. And
You went straight from that to BMX? Is that how it worked?
I worked in a bike shop called Strictly BMX.
Oh, yeah.
For a year or so and did some freelance stuff as well and whatnot. And then, I worked for Miller, like freelance for about 6 months. And then he gave me the call and full time ever since.
You still whittle with wood a little bit here and there?
Not really. build ledges, that's about it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Hey, how did you become friends with Barney over here?
I think he messaged me on Facebook once.
Nah,
Ooh.
I think it was you, dude.
Okay, it probably was.
You sure he didn't poke you? That's how a lot of conversations start.
Old school.
I remember it being Facebook. I don't know what it was about or anything, but
I think you might have just asked me about like LAX stuff or whatever when we were like kind of started doing that stuff.
What year are we talking?
how long ago?
2011, I think.
Yeah,
And
something like that.
yeah, Coops is way more established with focal point and stuff like that compared to ours, like LAX.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was he just messaged me when I was. Yeah, he just randomly messaged me, and yeah, I think it was just kind of like want to do a swap for like LAX stuff for focal point stuff. And I think at that time we had stickers. It might have had like T-shirts that I like printed with at my old job, and then I think that's kind of how it started. And then he came to the States, and then just asked, he's like, is it cool if I like, meet up and go ride? And that's kind of like how it was.
You guys just kicked it off?
Yeah.
Was the original message like, hey, you're in your 30s and you're straight edge, let's hang out?
I'm pretty sure the straight edge thing came up.
It is weird how like that is like kind of like how I've met a lot of people, even outside of BMX. It's like, oh, you're straight edge too? Like, oh, okay, cool. Like you just like, it's an automatic trust. It's kind of like, it kind of goes hand in hand, I guess, with like the BMX thing. Like, not really hand in hand, but like goes with the BMX thing is like, oh, you ride BMX? Like, you seem like a good dude. Like, just come hang out, like come over wherever the hell you're from. And
I would jump at the chance to put any straight edge dude on the team because number one, you don't have to worry about them smoking your weed, and number two, you don't have to worry about them like getting arrested on a trip or whatever, which is always kind of a concern when people are just out getting too drunk.
Yeah. Having a clear head
definitely
for it.
helps.
Yeah.
I think Miller likes that I'm straight edge.
Yeah.
But
does he drink?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot or a little?
I know. He loves it.
Yeah.
Is that the Australian stereotype to be a big drinker?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Is he? Is that what you were trying to distance yourself from when you were a kid? What made you never get into drinking?
When was it? It was. I think it was partly because of riding. I just wanted to get up and ride every day, get up early, search, whatever. And it was also seeing other people that didn't do too well out of that sort of situation.
When you have like people in your life when you were younger that were drug addicts or anything like that?
Not drug addicts, just,
but drunks?
Yeah, just drinking, So from that, you sort of don't want to go that path. And
what were your like early hardcore bands that you were into?
Damn.
I might be the only one that's going to be interested in this.
Probably
Maybe me
it was a lot of European stuff.
Okay.
Like, Caliban and who else? Heaven Shall Burn, Maroon, all those sort of bands. I think were they were definitely like life changing.
What about American bands that we might know of? Were you into that or not?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think like back then who would have it been? Like,
right.
Who would have been? You'd probably remember some of the bands.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean,
these days
pay
it's like
attention anymore.
definitely there's a lot these days.
Do you ever have like the desire to just edit all your BMX videos to hardcore songs, or is that
I've done it once or twice.
twice?
I did a Troy Jackson. No, that wasn't even me. But we've done it once or twice, and no one was down with it. Yeah.
Do you think that hardcore just is bad to edit to?
Yeah.
You would agree with that?
I think
That's not offensive?
There's times for it. Like I always love like the epic intros that are from like metal band albums. And you can use that for like a intro to a trailer. We've used them for trailers, like for our DVDs, and they work.
Right.
They worked really well.
It feels like when the song is really fast, it's just it just feels nonsensical the way the writing gets edited to it, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I'd do it now if someone was like, I really want to do it, like use a metal song.
Yeah.
Well, it's their edit.
Or you always want to edit to like the 30 seconds where it's like the breakdown with like the clean vocal part or something where it just sounds like a little bit more logical. Yeah. Or people always want to edit to hardcore intros.
Yeah.
Because the intro never has the crazy screaming vocals,
it's just like,
Yes.
It's always a little bit more rhythmic.
Yeah.
Josh Surrey, the first ever Shook.
Yeah.
And his like
that,
one and
Bleeding
only
Through,
part I
wasn't
think
it?
he's had.
Yeah.
It was I think it was Bleeding Through like one of their older
Okay.
albums. It's like this epic intro,
And
like,
Bleeding Through are like iconic LA
Orange
early
County,
2000s hardcore, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw their last show. It was in Australia.
Bleeding Through Throwdown. Were you a Throwdown fan? I was. I
not
had a
really.
Throwdown shirt.
Yeah.
If there were I'm glad there's not pictures of it.
Yeah.
It's probably some big straight edge thing. I don't want people to see that.
Yeah. But no.
All right, next. Okay, can we talk about the scooter takeover of Australia? That's the next on the list.
It's huge.
It is. It's huge out there.
Calmed down a little bit nowadays, but it's definitely still popular.
Really?
But I'd say probably when you were around, like over there, was 3 or 4 years ago. It was
That was the peak of the boom.
insane.
Has Colony ever considered making scooters or getting involved in the business in any way?
Definitely not.
Has that ever been a conversation?
No.
Clint's got too much pride for this, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I've got.
You've got too much
pride.
as well? He'd have
I
to
know,
fire you?
I think back in the day, I joked about doing a scooter mag because
Okay.
I was like, it would just be funny because so many people would be into it, but obviously we wouldn't. But yeah.
A couple years ago, I was at Barnes & Noble and I saw multiple scooter magazines on the shelf. I don't know if they stuck around, but I mean, it's a real thing. What is your attitude towards scooter kids? Like, do you try to be nice to them, try to urge them to get into BMX, or do you just kind of ignore them?
Yeah, I think at the start we were a bit more like we were probably a little bit harsh about it.
You did a contest where you traded in a scooter,
yeah,
right? I remember this.
That didn't go too well.
Didn't you get a lot of complaints from the scooter community?
Yeah, they weren't stoked.
Really?
But yeah, just I think the way we went about it, but you learn from it. But I think like in general, like when the scooter thing was heavy, we were like hating on it.
Yeah.
But then nowadays I'm like, you see people go from that to riding, so it's like, all right, they're doing their thing, and but it's definitely died off a bit back home.
I had a real young kid hit me up today, and he was like, "Yo, is it cool?" Because like, there's like a little Xavier Wolf meet and greet thing we're doing here, and he's like, "Yo, is it cool if I ride a scooter?" And he's like, mad young, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude." Like, I can't have that like super negative attitude anymore because it's like I have to be nice to him. Like, how could I tell this kid, "Nah, fuck off, you're not allowed to hang out"?
That's
you know. But even though in my head it's like scootering is so fucking lame, but I think we need to find a way to speak honestly to the scooter kids and explain to them that what they're doing is wrong.
I think that Ed Polio interview
you see that one?
had, dude, Ed's the man, dude.
Hell yeah.
Like it like definitely like enlightened me on it, you know, like especially from like
because
his
he has to be
perspective.
involved in business with these companies. You know, one of the companies, I forget who, they dropped out and were like, "We're not sponsoring events at your skate park anymore because of the shit you said in that interview." Even though to me, what he said in the interview, no, like a scooter company. To me, what he said in that interview was not really offensive at all. It was very like, you know,
he was trying to like embrace them and like telling other BMXers to like embrace them. You know?
Be
like,
nice to him. It seems like they took it the wrong way, like crazy, right?
It's pretty wild.
He showed me the email. I wish I knew who it was so I could call him out right now.
That's crazy.
Also, Ed Pulliam made this sign. I'm just going to mention that again.
Yeah,
Shout out
awesome.
to Ed. Okay, well, how do you know Wolfgang? Just so he gets his shine here, even though.
Silent shredder.
Speaking of scooters. Well, he's acting like I asked him a question. No, how do you know Wolfgang?
I know
through him, right?
Through him. He was we were out riding one day. I think Barney was there. All the LX dudes.
I think I first met him that same day too.
Yeah, and he was just killing it.
Yeah.
And, like wouldn't speak as he does it.
Yeah.
Is he really that quiet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we did a Utah trip whenever it was like last year, and like in the van he wouldn't say a word. He'd sit at the back.
Oh no, that was a
Fresno trip, and he'd be like, "Wolfie, you still there?" Like he just doesn't talk.
Is that a shy thing, or do you just not have a lot to say?
It's kind of a shy thing too, but like I don't have much to say either.
Were there people on the trip that you didn't feel comfortable around?
Not really. Like I knew
you knew everyone.
I knew Jordan and Chris.
Right.
Brockamani.
Brockamani's like the link, right? Between
that's
like
how I met all you guys.
Yeah.
How'd you meet him? Through Brockamani.
Through
So you
Brockamani,
do you live near all these guys? That's how you ended up riding together or something?
No, because this kid lives in friggin' Palmdale.
Right. And you live down closer to Odyssey, or?
No, I live in Hawthorne, which is like right next to LAX.
Oh, okay.
And
so that's quite a drive for you every day, huh?
It's depending on traffic, you know. It's
How long does
about
it take?
12 I think it's like 15.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
miles.
Never mind. Oh, 15, 20 miles.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say minutes.
And minutes. It's like could be depending on how bad traffic is, like close to like 40 minutes.
You ever get the desire to move closer to Odyssey?
It's so far away from my whole everyday life, like girlfriend's family, like my family, like nah.
Yeah.
I'm in a good spot.
Nice. What else are we going to do here? Oh yeah, but let's just keep talking about scooters. Just taking off for Australia. So like, I'm just kidding. I think we actually covered everything we need to say about scooters. What would you say is the state of the scene in Australia? Because you've been around for a long time. You've seen it go up. You've seen it go down. Is the BMX scene strong in Australia, or is it at a weird point?
No, it's strong. It's. I find it hard to gauge because I don't go to skate parks that
Okay,
often.
yeah.
So it's like, my local skate park, it's only like myself and Jack and Marnold and that ride there. You know, it's like 5 of us. There's every now and then we'll see a few riders come down, and you're stoked because you never see riders there. But that's just that park. There's so many fucking skate parks back there. They're everywhere.
Ringworm or
Yeah,
ringwood.
You have ringworm.
Yeah,
No.
I had ringworm one time.
that's fucked.
It sounds crazy, but it's actually just a little like circle like infection that you get in your arm, and then you just put this cream on it. It's not that
Yeah.
bad. It sounds like a worm.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
That's what trips people out. Also, the hardcore band Ringworm. You ever listen to them?
I've heard of it.
Okay, well, that also makes it seem scarier to me that a band named themselves after the skin infections. But go on. What did you say?
Yeah, no, it's good right now. I mean, we do a jam every year at the drains like Flemington Banks, and last year there was a couple hundred people showed up. I'm like, I'd never seen most of them. I don't know where they came from.
so
You know, and like
small, too.
they were primarily street dudes,
Right.
so they're there. It's just like they're not congregating in the one place. But yeah, it seems good. Like it's definitely park based and a bit of street. And
See, that's what I was going to say. Like, what is the percentages of like park versus street versus dirt? Dirt should be included too, right?
Yeah, definitely. There's trails for sure.
Or flatland.
Yeah. No, it's definitely skate park. I'd probably say 60-70% skate park.
And so they are like skate park kids, not skate plaza kids, because that's pretty much the two differences nowadays, right?
Yeah,
True, right?
Yeah.
Plaza kids are in effect.
There's no such thing as a street rider anymore. It's basically just a plaza rider or a park rider, right?
You got to be searching if you're a street rider.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So as a do you mean that though? Like, you think like a real street rider spends a lot of time looking for spots if you want to like be a real street rider?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you're a plaza kid, but it's good that they'll start out being plaza kids and then they go, fuck, I want to ride a real rail or something.
Yeah.
And they'll go searching and then it goes from there. Like, but yeah, there's a lot of plaza dudes but I feel there's more dudes sort of searching and riding street nowadays than there was sort of a year ago. It's that side of things is growing, and the skate park thing, that'll never die. That's
the skate park scene is just
strong.
insane.
Yeah.
Who do they ride like? A bunch of little Harry Mains, Alex Himes.
It's a mixture. Like, like obviously there's influences with Alex and Chris and all those sort of guys, but then there's guys that just blast it. Like, especially up north in Brisbane.
Oh, so like real booster dudes, not just like tech dudes.
You look at like the Jason, like where Jason's from. Like
True.
Jason Watts, he's just murders it.
Is he huge out in Australia? Like, the kids go crazy for him because his Instagram game is unbelievable. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I just know him.
What's up?
Yeah,
That's his Instagram name. What's up?
He looks
Jason's
like
really cool.
Spicoli, right, from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
That's what he looks like.
I feel like
Didn't he
there's
just
a
tear
kid
his
that wears,
ACL?
like,
Yeah.
he wears
No,
like Hawaiian
broke
print
his
shirts
shoulder.
and board
Oh,
shorts.
yeah. He just got fucked up.
Yeah, he's
Wait,
in
what'd you say about
parks.
board shorts?
He wears like board shorts and Hawaiian print shirts. Right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
kid-
He don't
that
give a
kid
shit.
kills it.
That's a whole new look because Alex Donachi, when he was out here, he wore like floral board shorts pretty much the entire time filming. It's like his section is going to be floral board short related,
Cali life.
That's Cali life. Is there ever like beef between the park riders and the skate park riders, the street riders? And no, it's just
I
kind of
don't think
whatever.
so. Yeah, it's pretty tight. I mean, I spend half my time filming like skate park dudes one week, and then it might be street dudes the next, and everyone gets along. It's too like it's not that big of a scene.
Right.
But there's like, it's like. No
Do
one
you
gets
think that the park riders respect the street riders and vice versa, or do you think that they look at all these dudes riding flatledge and they're like, "What the fuck? What is wrong with you? You're a pussy."
Yeah, I don't know. You never know. I'm sure there's people that talk shit, but
See, I would love to know what the park riders say about the street riders behind our backs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to be a fly on that wall.
stoked to find a foot high ledge somewhere.
Yeah, just having a conversation. Because that's always the comment that people will say is like, "You went to fucking Barcelona and you rode a flat ledge." Good. And then I'm just like, "Yeah, dude, this is what I came here for." That's awesome.
I got my bike confiscated in Barcelona.
Did you really?
It sucked.
By the police? What were you doing when it happened?
We were riding a spot in like the middle of it's a real famous spot. It's like a banked rail, and we were just riding it for like 30 minutes. I was trying to trick.
Uh-huh.
I think I didn't even get it, and then for some reason we stopped and we got lunch like literally around the corner, and cops came and they just pointed me out, took my bike, had my like information, and obviously the language barrier was shit. We weren't with anyone that spoke that language, and tried to get it back the next 2 days, and they wouldn't give it back. They gave me a fine.
Wait, so you didn't get your bike back?
No, I didn't get it back.
Well, how much was it going to cost?
€1,500.
Oh, so it's not even worth it, huh?
No.
Wow, that's fucked.
But yeah, it kind of ruined our, like, we were supposed to be there for 10 days, and we were there like 4 or 5 days, and we caught a train to France. Like,
Okay.
early. That was our next.
Would you get another bike out there, or you just...
Yeah, from the distro, they helped us out.
Wow, that's tight. Dude, see, when I went to Barcelona, I went for a month, and I was scared shitless because everybody warned me, like, they might take your bike and keep it. So we were so fucking careful the whole time, and luckily didn't really have any issues, but, man, that's just terrifying.
Yeah,
Were you not out with Fernando?
No, I was out with Fernando for the most part, and there were a few times where he would tell us, like, yo, go, like, ride down the street, like, this cop is lingering, like, he's going to do something, and it was always, like, these little situations that I was like, damn, if I didn't have him around, then I probably would have been fucked right here.
Yeah, Fernando is definitely a lifesaver when you're out there.
That's it. Like, if we didn't stop for lunch, we would have been fine. We would have been long gone.
Yeah.
We fucked up.
Dude, shit sucks. I heard that they really target dudes who have tripods and boom mics, or like if they see you doing anything that looks like a real production,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they take it easy on you. If I think if they know that you're local, if you seem like you've been around there, they take it easy on you. And I think if you look like if you're just some guy holding a little DSLR, they're probably not going to freak out too bad because it doesn't look like anything.
Yeah, you
I
got
feel like
flash
if you're-
stands and stuff.
If you're a tourist, they'll just fuck with you. Because I know on like that main street, La Rambla, which is like the main street, if you have a tripod, they'll give you shit about it. Like the cops, I remember Fernando telling me that, and I've seen it happen too. Like I think they just fuck with tourists out there.
That's crazy.
So you got fucked with coops.
I got screwed.
That sucks.
Big time. Never going back.
You're never going back.
Probably not.
Damn, that's
I'm
harsh though.
scared that
It's the most fun place.
I'm scared customs will be like, oh, you've got an outstanding warrant, like a fine.
Oh yeah. I wonder if you do.
Paranoid
You
for
know.
that shit.
Damn, that sucks. Next question is, have you ever been robbed while out trying to ride street or been in any other sketchy situations?
Good question. I definitely haven't been robbed.
Okay.
I wouldn't be here right now if I got lost.
You'd give up on BMX for life?
No, but I'd be out of a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I don't think so. Not really. Like, no, I can't think of any crazy situations off the top of my head. Like,
No, you ever seen any insane acts of violence or anything like that?
No, I remember one time we back home there was like a dirt, like a bit of concrete in a bank right next to a main road, and we dug out the dirt, so it was like a quarter pipe.
Uh-huh.
And we rode the next day, and there was a set of traffic lights like 100 meters past it, and people were watching us, and like all of a sudden we just hear a crazy noise, and like I guess they were watching us, and they just drove straight up the back end of the car, like right there in front of us, probably just not paying attention.
Wow.
It was
Nice
shit
fender
like
bender.
that. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I've seen like multiple people get shot right in the street in America. I guess Australia's a little bit safer.
No, yeah, definitely. That's about as far as it goes for us.
What about you though? I bet you got crazy ass stories from riding in LA.
I can't even think. Like off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Like,
Weirdest, worst thing you've ever seen.
I don't even. I mean, I just was like just walking over here, just telling Coops, and I've been coming down here since I was like 15. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
32 now, so it's almost 15 years or whatever it is.
Over 50.
Over, yeah.
Math.
And as a kid, it was like you didn't really tell your parents you were coming down here because it was like
Right.
super sketchy. And it was like, 10 o'clock at night. As soon as like night would fall, like you'd be down here and it's like ghost town.
Right.
And there's all this stuff popping up now. And yeah, I mean, I can't even think of like something off the top of my head, but I just remember like having homeless dudes in Jays and Lakers jerseys, like asking us for money. And we're like, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was real or not.
You ever seen someone having sex while you're out riding?
Oh, I have
fuck.
as well.
I feel like that's if you're a real street rider, you've seen some
I've seen
people
it twice,
fucking.
actually.
Yeah.
What were the scenarios?
One time we were like riding the city in the Docklands, like the new part of the city of Melbourne, and we were just riding these little banks, and it was like apartment buildings right there, like just however many stories. And the guy was like on the balcony with this chick just going for it. And like he saw us like looking up, and he didn't give a shit.
Oh yeah.
And then another time we were same area. We were just riding to another spot, and it was like at night time, like say 9 o'clock at night on a Wednesday, and we were just cruising past, and same deal. They were just going for it on like a 3-stair, like
On the
just
3-stair.
Like
You could have
behind the
180'd
building we
up
were
or
riding.
down over them.
Yeah, like just I forgot all about those stories.
Dude, imagine that. Wait,
Actually, sorry, because when you said people fucking, but that was like at some trails when I was a kid. But
see, that's romantic. That's a little bit more intimate. Doing it on the
like homeless
street,
people boning
yeah,
in
but
the
the
trails.
trails, that's cool. You could really get a session in there.
not sex, but I seen some grimy shit. I can't remember what street it was. I think it was off 7th coming down here, and there was a homeless lady just laid out, just shorts on or like skirt on or whatever the hell it was, and just full just muff just sticking out
While sleeping
like,
or whatever.
as we were riding like past her, and my friend Johnny, he fucking lost his shit on the way back because the same lady was squatting, like full on squatting, like just spread eagle, just trying to take a dump or a piss just in the middle of the road, and he was like
in the middle of the road. That's how
he was like
bucket is out
dry
here.
heaving. It was entertaining.
Dude, I had that like recently. I was walking with a 2 pieces of pizza in a box, and just as I'm walking forward, I just see a dude, and I'm like, damn, that's a short, weird-looking dude. But I didn't realize that he was hunched down with his fucking underwear like around his ankles, just shitting and pissing all over himself. And I'm just walking towards him with my pizza, and I'm just like, ugh. And I just turned and walked away, and like immediately kind of tried to block it out of my mind, and then immediately realized like how fucked up is where I live. That this is part of my everyday reality. Just block it out. Just don't think about it.
Ruin your pizza party. It's crazy because then it's like mixed in with like white girls from Orange County.
Exactly,
that live
yeah.
Down here, they'll
That-
be out at 3 or more.
That's
3
my
in the morning.
favorite, is seeing like the little
So
like
confusing.
Swedish girls who like got a hotel reservation and they didn't realize that they were on the corner of hell over here. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. All right. So the sex on the street though, that's a good thing that we should start asking everybody, because it seems like everybody rides street at a certain point. You either see a dead body, you see people having sex, or you see somebody shitting all over themselves, and all are special in their own way. What else we got here? Who are your favorite riders to film? Who's the most enjoyable to work with?
Shit.
Present company excluded.
Probably Daniel Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he dialed?
He's dialed, but it's just like he just like has a plan. He'll always think of something he wants to do, and it's not that he gets them real quick all the time. It's just that he's easy to film with, I guess. And Seth Marnell's the same. Just those two.
Does Marnell still ride?
Yeah.
Okay.
He sort of
was he out for a little
Yeah,
bit?
he was out for a bit, like 4 or 5 months. He sort of
Being a bogan.
he sort of quit being like pro and stuff, but he's still like we help him out with parts whenever, but he rides every week with us now, like at least one day on the weekend.
What's the definition technically of a bogan?
Like a bro or a redneck.
Oh, that's like the Australian version of that?
Crossbreed of that, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drinking.
It's terrible.
These are some questions. Oh, yeah. So there's one last question from me, and then we're going to go into some questions that the homie Frenchie submitted, even though we've covered a few of those already. But how do you feel about filming park riding as opposed to street riding? Is it just straight up boring? Is it kind of all right?
I have no issues. I actually really enjoy it. I mean, the ground's smooth, so you can usually do like good lines, like just on the board. And I probably enjoy it just as much. It's almost a challenge to make it look good, like look different, because it is just a fucking skate park. Whereas, a street spot, they're all unique. It's going to look good no matter what, pretty much. But yeah, I like filming skate parks just as much as street, I'd say.
Nice.
Photos, I'd probably definitely prefer shooting street.
Yeah, is it annoying having to deal with the fucking indoor park thing? I feel like it would be rough.
Yeah,
you don't shoot photos indoors so much?
I won't film indoors as much as try and avoid it as much as possible. But just looks better outdoors. But
who are your inspirations in filming that you were influenced by? Your favorite filmers?
Back in the day, it was just learning from friends and that. But these days, just anyone really. Like Navaz is always. Anytime I have a question, Navaz, I'll hit him up.
Oh, you hit him up?
Yeah, email. Like I met him a couple of years ago over here, and he's real cool, and just I always talk to him about stuff, and just anyone like Navaz is good. Joe Simon back in the day, like usual guys are all. Or, you watched that. What's his name? Richard Fawn.
Rich Fawn.
Yeah, he's good, creative.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
How shy would you say that? Sorry, I'm gonna restart that. How shy would you say that you are? Scale of 1 to 10.
Depends on the situation.
Maybe I should ask your friends this. So how shy would you consider him?
I'm surprised right now.
You're surprised I was able to get him on here?
Yeah. He was like, I don't know, man. He's like, yeah, he was super nervous about it, just being shy on camera.
I'm glad we did, though, because I think it's good for the Australian scene. Fucking,
it is.
These kids need to know a thing or two. They don't have enough role models.
No.
I think it just depends on the situation. Like, once I start, it's like everyone. Once you start hanging out with someone, then you're a bit more open and talk shit.
How long you been?
Friends.
How long you been with this girl?
8 years.
So yeah, you don't have to. That's probably the worst part about being shy is trying to figure out how to be shy and also figure out how to have a sex life. At some point, that's got to be the single
on the internet,
shy and single. Oh, really? Yeah. On Match.com or?
Shit.
Match.com.
It wasn't like that.
It wasn't a dating.
No, it was a photography based. Like.
Really? Oh, so you hit her up and you were like, "I love your work. What f-stop do you use?"
It was probably the other way around. But yeah.
Okay, I wish that Scott was here because he would love to make a lot of like romantic photography jokes. That's kind of his main thing.
I'm sure it is.
What about your diet? Is there anything particular we need to know about your diet?
I'm vegetarian, but like
pickiest fucking
very
vegetarian
picky.
ever.
You don't eat a lot of vegetables, or?
It's not even that.
He surprised me today. He ate pineapple.
I did. It was good.
And that's out of the
not
ordinary for
vegetable,
you?
it's a
Well,
fruit.
it's like every day I pretty much just eat veggie burgers.
Okay.
But he gives me shit all the time
it's like-
about it.
When he comes here, it's like bread, cream cheese,
Bagels. I feel
Yeah,
Yeah,
bagels,
We don't have bagels back then.
cheese.
So it
You don't have bagels?
No.
cheese toast.
They haven't figured out how to make a circular piece of bread that is
No.
kind of dense.
We have
Yeah.
amazing bakeries, but just
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
What's your favorite thing to get at the bakery?
shit. Anything vegetarian, there's not that many options.
Really?
Yeah. But
I feel like
love
most of the
Christmas.
things at the bakery are vegetarian. There's a lot of meat in.
yeah, but back home we have pies, which is not a
The meat pie
Yeah,
thing,
the meat
right?
Pie thing. So there's like 20 different options, but there'll be maybe one
Right.
vegetarian if you're lucky.
Do you ever have experiences as a vegetarian where you accidentally eat meat and then you're just really upset?
Oh,
How'd it
I don't
happen?
want to throw Sarah under the bus
yeah,
for that one. That's classic.
yeah.
Sorry, Sarah.
Who's Sarah?
My girlfriend.
His
Okay.
girlfriend.
What'd she do to you?
She fed me meat a couple of years ago.
On
So-
purpose?
Whoa. So like,
Seems very
she's gonna hate me
unsure.
for this, but like, so we moved in. We moved into a house 2 years ago, and like within a couple of weeks, she's like really into cooking. So she cooked me like this massive, like pot of soup. Goes to work next day. She's like, "Oh, I have the soup." I'm like, "Cool." I smell real weird. Then I make some, like I microwave it. Sit down, have a couple of like spoonfuls. I'm like, "There's fucking bacon in this."
Yeah.
And I'm texting her, I'm like, "Yo, there's no meat in this." She's like, no. Like 3 times she told me there's no meat. And then I'm like, eating, I'm like, I could see the fucking like bacon bits. And I'm like, there's bacon
You just
in
don't
this.
want to believe it, right?
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, but I I thought I got them all out. Like, I guess she sieved it, strained it. She cooked it in bacon and then like took all the bits out. But there was.
But is that acceptable for you as a vegetarian? You don't want something that's cooked in bacon, right?
I'm not super strict, but yeah, it doesn't.
Are you vegetarian too?
No,
vegan,
he's vegan.
Oh, you're vegan. How long now?
Like 11 or 12 years.
Holy shit, that's hardcore.
Yeah, that's
you could have been a member of Earth Crisis. You probably
Pissed
were.
off.
Was that
Were you ever
it?
you were in a hardcore band?
Was I in one?
Yeah.
No.
Were you ever in one?
No.
No, me neither. Thank God
wish.
we all escaped that. We all were hardcore kids without being in bands. Props.
Yep.
It's good. I often think about that, how if like my early attempts at going on tour with hardcore bands and stuff had actually succeeded, I probably would have been a full-time piece of shit and never have actually started a business or anything, because there's like so many people in my life that are like 30, they got hand tattoos. I used to think they were cool as fuck, and now they're they're on Facebook, they're so mad at life. That could have been me.
Yeah.
Could have been all of us.
Yeah.
It probably sounds kind of cool when you're young to go on tour with bands and stuff, and then you get a little older, you're like, man, I'm glad I dodged that.
But is it the same with BMX? You get to a certain age, you go, fuck.
Do you-
Should have I learned a trade?
Do you feel like that? Do you feel like BMX is so far off from what you started to be into that you're kind of disconnected from what it is now?
It's weird because, I know when I was like 16, 17, I didn't think, I'd love to work in the BMX. You probably think about it as like a dream.
But it seems like, how could you ever begin to do that, especially in Australia?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like I said, I was cabinet maker for 7 years and then like sort of made it happen, but I was just purely like lucky, basically. But yeah, like I'm lucky because I have a trade behind me, so if something happens down the track, okay, I can go back to building furniture, but there's probably a lot of people in the industry and just pro riders that are like,
what else are they
going
to
do when
do?
I hit like 35 or whatever it is? Like, that's kind of, you got to have that in the back of your mind, I think. So
that's why I think there's like a generation gap in BMX where a lot of older dudes just feel so disconnected from what's popular now that they just don't know what to make of it.
Yep.
The young kids are almost like, don't necessarily relate to a lot of the brands in the industry because the brands sort of market to older riders and stuff. So some of the kids, they end up gravitating to weird things like, Adam LZ and fucking like, not that that's weird, but like they are like, it's almost like a lot of people in the industry don't really know how to relate to the kids, and the kids don't know how to relate to a lot of things in the industry. So it's like, sometimes I feel like BMX is just in this weird, strange position.
Yeah.
But
You feel me?
Yeah, I agree on that.
The
I feel
other, the other side of things is like, I wouldn't have got into photography or like video work or graphic design if I wasn't into BMX.
Exactly.
And there's so many people out there that, look at Joe Simon now, he's like a professional wedding filmer, like just insane. And it's like, that's probably because of BMX as well. There'd be so many people like that at least they learned something because of BMX.
That's kind of the unfortunate thing, though, is that when you look at BMX, it's like there might not be enough money in the industry to really keep a lot of people in the industry, which is kind of unfortunate because somebody like Joe Simon, if he was a skateboarder, probably would still be in the skate world making videos and not shooting weddings or doing whatever he's doing now, and we would still have him around making BMX look sick. I mean, I kind of know I've heard it said that he was sort of like disgruntled when the Let's Get Mystical didn't even get nominated for Norca. I remember hearing that was kind of a thing because it was just sort of, I mean, at a certain point as a dude like that, it's like, do you just outgrow BMX? I don't want to put words in his mouth or anything, but I mean, do you sort of move on? But skate has more money in it, so at the end of the day, they have dudes that they could pay a shitload of fucking money to just, that's their craft, and they could stick with it.
Only do one thing, like
you're not doing 80
multiple
things at once.
things. Like that's, like I know Coops, like for instance, like that Coops does everything. Not saying he does everything, like not trying to just take away anything from Miller and Keith Treanor, but like he is a machine. Like Coops does a lot of shit, man. Amongst riding a bike and still killing.
If you want to work in BMX, you pretty much have to be, right?
Yeah, like everyone that I work with, y'all wear a couple hats, different hats. Like you all do a lot of stuff, But
that's the way you got to see it. It's like you have I have a really good job, travel, everything. You don't want to fuck it up,
right?
So it's like you've got to go the extra mile so that it continues.
And when kids hit me up, and sometimes they'll be like, I'm thinking about getting into filming or graphic design or photography, and I'm thinking, you should probably do all three of those because if you want a job in a fucking tiny competitive industry like this, you're probably going to have to be good at a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you're not like, Coops is one-stop shop, And it's... I mean,
a lot of dudes are like that. Walter, he'll shoot the article, film the video, write the article, and fucking probably social media the whole time, probably. Yeah. I mean, these are all tasks that like in a bigger industry, it might be 5 people, it might be...
You could focus on just that one thing. That's the only thing I think that we kind of lack, but like you said, it goes back to the money thing, like there's filmers just doing filming, and there's probably editors. Just everything's broken down, like so you can fully focus on it. Like
that's it. It's like Miller. He's not just sitting back doing whatever.
Nah.
He's like sales, designing parts, doing complete bikes, just everything. And it's like same deal. That's like 5 people's.
What is Keith Treanor's involvement with Colony out here? Because he handles the
he runs out.
distribution.
Yeah.
So you guys have your own distribution out here now?
Yeah.
And what's it called?
It's just Colony.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
Colony.
it's just based on the Colony. But
Okay.
it's up near San Diego, and it's just he's a one-man.
So do you go meet up with him a lot out here? Or?
Yeah, definitely hang out with Keith a lot, and he just kills it. He
Yeah.
does all. It's like Barney said,
Compared
just
to-
so many hats.
Yeah, compared to my job, like job title, like he is not only like the dude calling you, like making sales, he's like printing the order and then going to pull it and then making sure it ships.
Yep.
And even like even hounding you, when you don't pay your bills, you
Yeah.
know, like so. Yeah,
he does
Keith
it all.
kills it. Like it's really only 3 people that run Colony and Division, like just 3 people.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Division too. What is the state like? What was Division initially supposed to be? It was kind of supposed to be more of the hardcore parts company type vibe.
Yep.
And is that kind of still the main?
Well, we're pretty much gone full on now. Like, it was at that point where we could either like sort of stay sort of doing a few parts here and there, or we could just kick it into gear. And thankfully Miller was like, let's just go hard. And so we got like 3 complete bikes coming out.
Oh, okay. So you're doing complete and
Yeah.
stuff. I thought it was going to be just a parts brand. Okay.
No, we got 3 complete bikes coming out in October, and then a frame will be out then as well. And we've been doing new grips, new seats, everything. So it's like,
So is the goal to take Division and make it more street and make Colony more the park brand?
I guess like if you want to like look at it like that, but Colony's not like just a park brand. I
Right,
guess in
yeah.
the early days it got that sort of recognition, but if you look at our team, it's diverse, like very fucking diverse. So it's like,
Yeah.
I guess it's always going to have that little sort of known as like being a park brand, but it's really
It's
diverse.
weird because is Colony the only really relevant bike company in Australia? Who else is there even? Because the set kind of faded away.
No,
It's really
it's still
fall.
around.
But do they do a lot in Australia, or is it?
I see it around in Melbourne a
Okay.
little bit. I don't know, like like
He doesn't want to
nationally.
talk shit. He's being polite right now.
And then
Industry
Yeah,
stuff.
he totally is.
and I'm trying to think who else. There's not too many others. I think Tempered.
What happened with Tempered?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
You used to see it a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, he was even kind of like they even sponsored some people here. Like
Yeah,
they
years
did.
back.
I don't think that they're currently making anything. I think that that's over.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know like dudes still ride for them, and I know they did some like T-shirts and stuff a little while back. But yeah, I'm not really sure regarding parts and that.
What are your feelings on Crispy Stream?
Yeah, no.
Fan? Not a fan?
No, I'm a fan. I'm not like some of the shit they do. I guess is a
Because
little
sometimes it goes a little far, right?
bit, yeah. But I mean, I'm friends with her. Like Vodka.
Do you think he's a little salty? Has he been shit on by the industry? He's kind
I
of
don't
just
think so.
salty as fuck. No.
No, I'm not sure. I guess it's just their sense of humor.
Yeah.
So if you've got to have a really good sense of humor to sort of, they'll make fun of me as well on there, and it's
Right.
like, all right, it's cool.
I know
Like,
Frenchie gets pissed about them giving him shit once in a while. Yeah.
So I mean, like they probably go too far sometimes, but it's just like that's their thing. Like,
That's your rodeo peanut.
Yeah.
Something's blog format.
yeah. I think they.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know there was an Australian version of it.
It's not exactly that. It's more just like a scene website or in general. But I mean, they do give people shit more than the average BMX website.
But yeah, there's people have mixed feelings about it, but it's an interesting one. I mean, it's entertaining as long as you're not getting put shit on.
Would you rather go on a trip with Vaucanson or Josh Irvine?
Voco.
Damn,
He's
that's
fucking
harsh.
crazy. He's an amazing bike rider. So.
So is Irvine.
Yeah, but
He's the best.
Voco wouldn't ask me to sponsor him every 10 minutes or follow him on his.
Did you notice in the Nasty podcast that he knew who Josh Irvine was? That was funny to me because he doesn't know who anyone is.
No.
I had to meet Nasty like 10 times before he knew my name.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's that kind of guy. This is actually the last question that I have written down. What is the state of your eyesight? Because I've heard that it's very, very, very bad.
I don't even know this.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad.
It's not that bad?
No, I think I have 18/20 vision.
Okay.
So
That sounds really good. That's really close to 20/20.
it's not far.
Oh.
So
Frenchie asked that. He said you can't see at night at all.
he's tripping.
Oh, really? Just a
I think
rumor.
I
Camera.
can see at night. It's probably when I drive, I get paranoid, so I'm like asking other people.
Do you have you ever tried the contact route, or have you always been dedicated to glasses?
Yeah, I tried them once, like when I was probably 10 years ago, when I was a cabinet maker, and because of the timber in the air, it like
That'll dry it out real
was
quick,
killing
huh?
me. Yeah, couldn't do
that
it.
sounds
So
shitty.
now I'm just glasses for life.
Timber. You need subtitles when
Timber.
he talks.
Timber.
That's dust, kids.
You're right. I just kind of made the connection that I knew that timber had to be sawdust, but you're right. That is a strange topic.
We say
to call it.
sawdust as well. I just fucked up.
Yeah. Shit. All right. Well, that's the end of my my list of questions here. Is there anything that you think I should cover here? What else do we need to know about Coop?
Focal point and like the soft goods. Like he does it.
You still do soft goods?
Yeah, I screen print it all myself. So.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just know that, kids in Australia, that's his blood, sweat, and tears. And I remember when I visited him, he had like his own like screen, shop made himself, like just out of wood and like a door screen or something, like DIY.
Out of a door screen?
No, I'm joking.
That sounds like a fucking.
But, it's like, but Coops is, do it yourself for sure, like to the max, man. Like he gets up at like 7 and he'll be doing work online. We'll go out and ride or run errands, and then by the time he's back home at like 8 or 9, he's, depending on what night it is, he might have movie night with his missus. But
movie night is like a big night for you. That's like going hard.
It seemed like it when I was there. I was on the floor like a kid, next to mom and dad on their bed. What
kind of movies you watching with the lady friend? Rocoms?
No, I just watch TV series.
What kind of TV you like?
The cliche ones.
Like what? Friends? Seinfeld?
Nah, fuck. Like Sons of Anarchy and
okay.
Breaking Bad. I don't know. I'm straight edge, but I love Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad was the shit. Well, I mean, like Breaking Bad is probably a good show to watch if you're straight edge because like the things that they're doing with the meth doesn't make any sense. It's like fantasy. Like I read this whole thing about how all the stuff with them like cooking meth like makes no sense and it's totally fictitious. But I mean, I guess that's to be expected, Yeah.
Yeah.
What I don't know. I'm trying to think. What else do we need to cover before this is over? I'm pretty happy. I think we got over a half hour with this guy, this quiet Australian chap. I'm kind of proud.
You did all right.
What video projects are you working on?
A lot. What do we got going on?
Because Colin is just pumping out web videos pretty frequently, right?
Yeah, there's so many dudes on the team, so I'm over here filming stuff with Nathan Sykes and what else? A Division mixtape that should be done in a couple of weeks, and another focal point package as well.
Okay.
That'll be done in probably 2 weeks. So it's never ends. There's so many different dudes that film. We film with Wolfie all the time and just everyone. So, across the couple of brands plus the focal point stuff, I probably have some coming out every week or two at least. So,
you think Clint will ever take the front brakes off?
Nah, I remember once he had no brakes for maybe a couple of weeks, but that was like 6 years ago. He's dedicated. We make forks with brakes, so he's...
Yeah.
Oh, that is dedicated because that there's not many people who are buying those, huh?
No. Yeah, I don't think. Do you guys?
We do too, but ours have like a 25 mil offset, which is like steeper and quicker, which all you kids probably know about that.
Oh, okay.
But,
right.
For a mid-school, old school dude with front brakes, it's probably a little too responsive for him.
Right.
But I don't know.
But yeah, no, he's dedicated.
Hey, can I just say that I first discovered Clint Miller? Well, I first came to know them through the secret section at the end of Criminal Mischief.
I didn't know that was him till later on in life after I met him, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's just remember that there was one guy who had front brakes and kind of stood out as being a little bit burlier, bigger arms than everybody else in the video. To that Small Brown Bike song at the end.
Yep.
That's
what it was.
Shout out. Small.
And there was random Sharebo clips and I think that's the first time I ever pronounced Sharebo correctly. It's Sharebo, not Scarebo.
See, I think it's Scarebo.
I thought that forever too, and I'm used to saying it that way, but I think that he pronounces it Sharebo.
Wow.
It kind of sounds like sherbet, which I like.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Coops, any thanks, any shout outs you want to give before this podcast reaches its end?
Fuck.
I'm proud that I got him in here. Who else? Who would you? Oh no, this is one question. I forgot to write this down. What the fuck happened to Liam Fhay Hampton?
Oh,
the most iconic web video rider of all time at one point, and then just kind of slowly trickled off.
Yeah, I don't know, because he rode for Colony.
Yeah, and I remember he dramatically left the team at one point, kind of, right?
Yeah, and then he fizzed out. I think he's a rock climber now.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. I know Grosser and Bazan, they still see him and stuff.
Really?
I haven't spoken to Liam for years. But
he was unreal. Chainless, doing switch hop whips and unbelievable stuff.
Such a beast.
He did have a scooterish bike and he had no chain, so it was basically like a scooter, yeah. He was so crazy with the rail rods and shit, dude.
Yeah, amazing bike rider.
Yeah. He was probably one of the greatest of all time in Australia, if you really want to think about it. And that was probably the fourth post on the come up or something. It was one of the first posts the dude who filmed that one really iconic web video, do you remember?
Oh shit. One of the Gascoigne brothers.
Okay, because I remember it was like a QuickTime file on a
Yeah, I
website.
remember that, yeah.
And I remember telling them, like, please let me take this and put it on my YouTube. This was, I had a YouTube in like 2008. And I was like, let me just put this up so everybody can see it. And they were like, no, it fucks up the quality. They wouldn't let me do it. That thing would probably be in the million plus club on YouTube because that thing was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was amazing.
I wonder.
Would still would be.
I'm going to look for it, and I'm going to try to put it in this podcast over this part they were just talking about, just so the kids know that Liam Fhay Hampton was the illest shit back then.
Liam was definitely good.
Yeah.
Kills it.
Any other thank yous? Anything we need to look out for?
Shit, I'm not one to sort of...
Not one to thank people?
But, no, I'll
Self-made man?
No, Miller's the best.
He's the best self-promoter?
No, he's the best to give me a job.
Okay, yep.
Best job in the world, so...
We should get Keith Treanor out here for an interview, too.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, you could come co-host again. See, my thing, I tried to have Barney before because when we first started doing this, I was like, oh, we should try to suck off the advertisers and get people who work for our advertisers in here. I'm like, oh, the Odyssey guys, that makes sense. I don't think he wasn't trying to do it. I don't think.
No one's ever even hit me up.
Oh, I think I mentioned it to Nuno.
Oh,
maybe I didn't even mention it to you. Maybe I just thought I did.
He's like, yeah, he's gonna fucking fuck up.
Say
That's
something
right.
wrong.
Batter you. Spread all kinds of lies about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Nuno. Shout out. So let's do that. Let's get an Odyssey episode going.
I gotta do
An Odyssey episode.
One day.
Who do you want?
I don't know. Who else would be?
I don't know.
Maybe like you and Aaron Ross. No, because then that's just the Aaron Ross interview.
Yeah, that
we're
would
gonna end
just
up
be
talking
the
about him the
Aaron
whole
Ross.
time.
And I don't know too much about him other than he rides for a company I work for.
True, and
To be completely honest,
he's good at the tail whips. That's what I've heard. He's got a lot of followers too.
That's true.
Unlike all of us, we're all losers. All right. So this has been TCU TV with Cooper Brownlee.
Yep.
colonybmx.com.au.
Yep. And divisionbrand.com.
.au or .com?
Just .com.
Good. So, noted.
Yep.
What's your Instagram?
X Cooper Brownlee X.
Beautiful. That means he's straight edge kids. I'd like to shout out Barney for coming through. Barney, we're going to do a real Barney
That
interview
would be
one
great.
day. Possibly
I'll fly
like.
back just for it.
Okay, sweet. How many more days do you have here?
Another week.
Okay, cool. I'm sure there's lots of handrails to be shredded in that time.
Flat ledges. pretty
And
much.
shout out to Wolfgang, who did not say a lot,
Nah.
but good-looking guy. Wore the white T-shirt because you didn't.
Yeah.
We were saying he should have worn the white tee to bring back the old school LA feel, you know?
It was a good era.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's what we should do. Is next like OSS jam? Or no, Boy has a jam tomorrow. I should
yeah.
come through with hella
Saturday.
triple X white tees. Oh, you're right, Saturday. If I came through with all the white tees, I guarantee everybody takes their shirts off and puts those on.
Pro Club Talls.
Pro Club talls. That's what. And David Grant wears those still because he's so
He's
tall.
a giant. Yeah.
Yeah. He tried to get me into it, and I wasn't. The neck is really
The
small.
neck, I couldn't mess with it. When I was
Yeah.
younger, I never really wore that setup, but I did wear white tees. I did get a Pro Club, and it's like like wearing a turtleneck, like a
Right.
short.
Imagine my confusion on the East Coast because like it took a little while longer for the white tee thing to hit, but there was like an episode of Shook where you were probably all up in this mix section, and there was a B-roll shot where you just saw like 8 dudes in white tees. It's like you just see the Ku Klux Klan standing there or something. It's like, what the fuck? Why are they all wearing the same outfit?
It was in San Fran. I wasn't actually able to go on that
Okay,
trip.
it was probably
but,
Boy and Koss and all
it
those
was,
dudes, right?
Yeah. And Kosa was like, and
Kos,
Skylar
yeah.
and all like John. Yeah, those dudes. Yeah, that was a good one.
They had
Good
tire
good
marks.
times.
Huh?
It'd be like
Yeah.
tire marks on the back of the
Exactly.
You
wall.
shit your
Like,
pants. I
oh,
used to give
shit.
those dudes so much shit.
I always liked that about inverts was that Ben Hiddle, you could tell he was good at inverts because he would have a big ass tire mark on his shirt all the time.
It's a good brag.
Yeah, I wish I could do an invert just for that solely alone. Oh, I got dirt on my shoe. No. I was doing an invert earlier. All right. So this has been TCU TV, Cooper Brownlee. Thank you very much to everybody who watched. Subscribe to us, follow us, click the button right here, whatever the button may be. It's probably a Facebook button, realistically. Thanks for coming through. This has been the first ever Australian TCU TV, unless I'm forgetting somebody.
Thank you.
All right, Josh Irvine coming up next week. Thank you very much.
Shit.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, you did it, Coops.
Did it.
You made it through.
That was great.
Sweet. Thanks.
We're going to do what we can here. This is the Colony team. Instagram Slam. Fuck you. I want to see Jack do a tires to whip. Yeah, CXB said he wants to see a Nolly Smith nose manual bar. LAX_film.